Good evening, guys. Good evening, and welcome to another edition of the World Cup Review Show. Welcome to episode 10 with me, Stephan, your host from WHEELYFC TV. How well doing, guys? How we doing? Because the knockouts have started. Yes, the knockouts started on Sunday evening with Canada and South Africa, and the games have been great ever since. And we've got quite a few games to look back on, and quite a few games to discuss going forward into this evening and into tomorrow as well. Now, I know we're on slightly later than planned, but that's because I was busy today. I had loads of stuff to do, so I had to get that out of the way first, and then I thought we'll do the show. So, without further ado, guys, we'll get into the show. But just a quick reminder, actually, before we do, that you can now get this podcast in audio form. From wherever you get your podcasts, just look out for it. It will be uploaded right after this episode finishes. And that will be available everywhere that you get your podcast, like I said. So without further ado, guys, let's get into the show and look back at yesterday's games, starting with Ivory Coast versus Norway. Now, this game finished 2-1 to Norway. It was 1-0 to Norway at half-time, with goals from Nusa, Haaland, of course, and Amadiao scored for Ivory Coast. Now, admittedly, I didn't see this game because I was heading out to work at the time, but it sounded a very, very close game. It sounded very, very close because I was listening in on my phone. Ivory Coast pushed Norway all the way, and you would kind of expect that from one of the African sides at the World Cup. The African sides seem to be very, very strong this World Cup, as we've seen from Morocco beating the Netherlands in the wee hours of the morning overnight. Going into Sunday into Monday morning rather in the UK. Get my words out right. Monday into Tuesday in the UK. That's better. Now we're back on track. But Norway are they've won everybody away so far. We've not had too tough a test yet, obviously. But I'm sure when they do, we are going to have to show their credentials, and then we'll see whether Norway is built around one man, of course, and that man being Erling Haaland of Manchester City. But don't forget, you've got Arsenal's Alexander Trossard in there as well. So you could argue the team is built around them too. But, like I say, when Norway get a tougher test, that's when we'll find out their World Cup credentials. Now, also bear in mind that for Norway, it's been 28 years, the same length of time that they were last in the World Cup was the same time as Scotland was in the World Cup. So they're doing remarkably better than, obviously, Scotland. The less said about our World Cup journey, the better, because we've not sacked their manager. He was resigned, but Norway's margining fairly better than Scotland after the same amount of time away from the World Cup. And take nothing away from Ivory Coast or Cote d'Ivoire. They've done themselves proud in this World Cup, getting out the group stages, making it to the last 32, and almost taking down the Norwegian Giants, but they just fell short in the end. Now, what a game this was between France and Sweden. This game was absolutely excellent. Kylian Mbappe scored 2 goals. It was 1-0 at half time. Kylian Mbappe scored right on half time. Then in the 74th minute, and Barcola scored in the 53rd minute. Now, I would have thought that Sweden would have posed more of a challenge to France. However, they kind of went out with a wee bit of a whimper, if I'm being totally honest. They went out with a massive whimper. They offered hardly anything in compared to France's superiority in the game. Now, we know it's going to be Didier Deschamps' last World Cup as French manager before he hands the reins over to Big Zidane. And what a fairy tale it would be for him to win the World Cup, of course. Now, what my friends are saying that France are their favourite pick to win the World Cup. And I can see why, because against Sweden, they were just by far the superior team. Sweden, in my estimation, offered very, very little going forward. And at the back as well, obviously, because their defence was breached 3 times. Now, that begs the question, what is next for Mr. Graham Potter? We'll just need to see. I mean, obviously, he signed the contract extension with the Swedish FA to keep him in charge, but we'll just need to see what happens, because as we all know, football is a results business, and if you don't get the results in the biggest tournament in world football, then you could be for the chopping block. And there's another story that we're going to come on to a little later on in today's episode that may just be a seismic shock for you. I'm not going to give anything away, but I must stress that when I do break this story, it is unconfirmed reports, but there is reports coming out about it, and we'll get on to that shortly. So that was the games from Tuesday. Now going into the games from yesterday, Wednesday, the 1st of July 2026. And there was almost a seismic shock, but sadly, with 15 minutes to go, that seismic shock didn't materialise. But before we get on to the seismic shock that could have been, we have to talk about Mexico and Ecuador. What a game that was overnight. That kicked off in the wee small hours in the UK. Very late at night for some people, but it was very, very late at night for us. It was around 2 or 3 a.m. overnight that kicked off, and Mexico won the game 2-0 with goals from Quinones and, of course, Raul Jimenez. And Ecuador subsequently got the World Cup at the round of 32, and the Arsenal defender Hincapel was sent off in the 95th minute. Now, subsequently, that means for Sebastian, whose second name I can't pronounce, the Ecuador manager, sadly, he's now left his position with the Ecuador national team, so we wish him well in his next venture. But it'll be interesting to see where he ends up, because he's definitely put himself on the football managerial merry-go-round for a job in any one of the top European leagues, I would say. Certainly with his passionate display against the Germans in their final group game. which was just at the weekend there. So things are moving pretty fast now in the World Cup with the knockouts happening. So well done to Mexico for getting through. And their reward comes from this next game that we're going to talk about. And we have to, unfortunately, me being a Scotsman, but also me being a podcaster, I do have to mention this team. England against the Democratic Republic of Congo, or Congo for short. Well, this game could have and should have caused the most seismic shock in the round of 32 at this year's World Cup, because after 7 minutes of the game, Congo took the lead. And they were in the lead all the way through the first half. Through half-time, it was 1-0 half-time to Congo. We were in the lead until the 75th minute. Yeah, you know what I'm going to say, don't you? Then, in the 75th minute, ably assisted by Anthony Gordon, who pops up to score. I wonder. Yes, you're right, folks. It is that man, Harry Kane. Harry Kane scored the equaliser for England in the 75th minute. I'm guessing it was probably a header with the ball in from Anthony Gordon. Then, just 11 minutes later, he put Congo out of the World Cup and put England through to face Mexico in the wee hours of Saturday night. Sunday morning in the UK kicks off at 1 a.m. That will be a very, very good game to watch, because I think Mexico will run England very, very close. And don't forget, guys, quite a few of the Mexican players play in the top 5 leagues around Europe, and that includes the Premier League and the English Championship as well. So the 2 highest divisions in English football has Mexican players in it. But Kipeniega's goal for Congo against England will go down in history, because if he just managed to hold on for another, say, 20 minutes, if you include the injury time for the hydration breaks at the end, then Congo would be playing Mexico in the wee hours of Sunday morning, and not England. But that's the way the cookie crumbles, and England are being lucky again to get through by the proverbial skins of their teeth. And that is no joke. Now, after the England game, because remember that kicked off at 5 p.m. UK time yesterday, after the England game we then had a cracker of a game, and this was a cracker between Belgium and Senegal. Now, if you may remember in the previous episode, I said that Senegal would run Belgium very, very close. Well, maybe I should take up a job as a football pundit on certainly a part-time basis, because I was right. Reason being was that Diarra had opened the scoring for Senegal in the 24th minute of the game. Then Ismail Assar scored after the break to make it 2-0 in the 51st minute. But Belgium weren't done. Oh, no, because 2 goals in 3 minutes meant the game went to extra time. So Romelu Lukaku scored in the 86th minute, then Yuri Tielemans scored in the 89th minute. So the game went all the way to extra time. Then there was VAR controversy, as there so often is in football these days. And Belgium, to cut a long story short, guys, got a penalty in the 120th minute. Now, as we all know, extra time ends in the 120th, but because of the hydration breaks and the penalty decision and the VAR time, the game nearly went on for 130 minutes. So, Belgium scored the penalty on the final kick of the game. Yes, you heard me right. But let me tell you, for all that disgrace in the AFCON final with between Senegal and Morocco, with the Senegalese players walking off the pitch at that penalty decision, for all the disgrace back in January with that, I think Senegal have equipped themselves very, very well at this World Cup. They gave a really good showing, and they were desperately unlucky not to knock out another big team in Belgium. They ran them very, very close, and they were desperately, desperately unlucky not to, as I say, knock them out of the tournament, of the competition. And believe it or not, guys, that was all the games yesterday. There was only 3 games because remember, we are in knockout territory now, so of course, whoever wins goes through, whoever loses goes home. It's as simple as that. So the episodes won't be as long, unless I'm doing it with a guest, of course, but if I'm flying solo, the episodes will not be as long as they have been, because the number of games are rapidly getting shorter and we're rapidly heading towards the 19th of July. Get that date circled in your calendars because that is World Cup final day. So what are we now? We are on the 2nd of July at the time of this recording. So we are 17 days away from the big one, guys. 17 days away from the World Cup final, but of course, we'll keep the show running for you right up to the World Cup final, and we'll have a special preview show to look ahead to the World Cup final as well. Let's take a look at today's games then for the 2nd of July. And one of them, guys, as I'm talking, is just about to kick off, but we'll come on to that in a minute, because the USA overnight are absolutely flying. They've won their last 32 tie against another European team to exit the competition in Bosnia-Herzegovina. And they won it with goals from Balogun, who was also subsequently sent off in the 64th minute of the game, and Thielman in 82 minutes. So for one of the co-hosts, in fact for 2 of the co-hosts, for 3 of the co-hosts to go through is unheard of, guys. So Canada's gone through. They beat South Africa in the first round of 32 game on Sunday evening. Mexico beat Ecuador overnight, last night, and the USA have also done the same. So for all 3 co-host nations to make it through the round of 32, that is unheard of, and well done to the USA. Let me tell you guys, what a job Mauricio Pochettino has done with the USA and the USA soccer to help grow the game in the country. Obviously, every game at this World Cup so far has been a full house. So, regardless of all the hoo-ha and moaning and groans from fans around the world about ticket prices for each game, they're paying them. So, and let me tell you, the game that I'm just looking at looks also to be a full house between Spain and Austria. Now that is just in the process of kicking off. It's still got 2 minutes to go by my watch. It kicks off at 8 p.m. in the UK, and this is going to be a close one. I don't think it's going to be as easy for Spain as some people and pundits will make out. I think Austria could pose a little surprise to Spain. I'm not saying Austria is going to win, of course not, but I just don't think that Spain is going to have it all their own way. Because as we all know with the Ralph Rangnick team, they are resolute, they are dogged, and they'll play until the end. So I think this one, and I know I'm going to sound boring, but I think this one is also going to go to extra time. But please, if you think otherwise, let me know in the comments, because it's always great to hear from you guys. So please do let me know in the comments what you think about tonight's game. And I'll run you through the fixtures for tomorrow as well. Now, tomorrow we've actually got quite a few games on. At midnight tonight, we've got Portugal versus Croatia. At 4 a.m. in the morning in the UK, we've got Switzerland versus Algeria. At 7 p.m. tomorrow night, UK time. All these times are UK times, of course. We've got Australia versus Egypt. And at 11 p.m., we have Argentina versus the little known island of Cape Verde. And if Cape Verde caused a shock in that one, the world of football is going to have an earthquake of seismic proportions, because bear in mind, folks, Cape Verde are taking on the reigning and defending world champions. And also, I'm going to give you my player to watch this evening in the Spain-Austria game, and that is going to be for Spain, Lamine Yamal, of course, and for Austria, who am I going to go with? It has to be their captain, David Alaba, who's the warhorse of Austrian football. And so that is the look back on the games, guys. But there has been a bit of a almost seismic shock coming out of Germany today. In reports, Matt, Julian Nagelsmann is to step down as Germany manager due to his team's poor performance at this year's World Cup. And that culminated in the round of 32 game against Paraguay just a couple of days ago, where Germany were beat by Paraguay on penalties. And that is coming out of Sky in Germany. Now, like I said, these reports are unconfirmed at the moment, but I'm sure over the coming hours and minutes and days that there'll be more stuff in the media. So as it breaks, we'll bring it to you on the World Cup review show. And with that being said, guys, I just want to, thank everyone for tuning in this evening. It's been great having you along, guys. It's been great having you with me for today's episode. If you're watching the Spain-Austria game, which is just kicked off this evening, enjoy that. Remember, you've got all those other fixtures to look forward to that I did from mention. And as always, guys, if you aren't already, please do like and subscribe to the channel. It helps massively. All the social media handles you can see down the bottom there, so please do what you have to do. Drop follows, like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. It really does help. And thank you for watching, guys. As always, keep it wheelie, keep it real, and believe it or not, guys, I'll see you all on the next one. Bye-bye for now, guys, and take care, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye for now, guys. Ciao for now.